Facebook, Twitter, emails, websites. This was not available before. How are you going to use this to address the challenges that facing all of us today? That's why I wanted just to share with you about the economical challenges and the educational challenges. To me, it's not enough only to talk about Jerusalem. I have to do something. And I have to go and share with a lot of Americans in different universities, different churches. I go to their churches and I explain to them that what you are doing, that is harmful for America itself. You are part of the world. We are not the whole world. We are part of the world. We have to reach out. You have to make the people like you, not hate you. So I just wanted to let you know these kind of things made me really start that in order to talk about this, the Seminary and Interfaith Center and Institute. In order to address those issues, I'm just going to run it, I'm just going to show you the last thing because of the time, because I would like to work with you. I would like to work with people from Indonesia, from Malaysia. That's why I'm here. To see how I can bring Americans to interact and see that Islam is actually the religion of science, the religion of technology, the religion of history, the religion of algebra, the religion of history, the religion of medicine, the religion of spirituality. Everything is associated with religion. That's how the first thing I do when I wake up. I'm just going to show the last thing. That these are the programs that right now we are doing, bringing imams. Because for me the biggest challenge is when you go to Friday sermon. When you go to Jumu'ah, this is the biggest challenge. Everybody has to go to Jumu'ah. And when you go to Jumu'ah, this is an amazing opportunity to educate the whole Indonesia. But if the imams are still talking about something happened 100 years ago and has no relation to today, this is a big problem. And if Allah is talking about reaching out to everyone and you don't reach out, this is a big problem. That's why I started with the imams and try to improve their curriculum and add something about global issues. Because Allah told me in the Quran, by the way, there is a long surah called Surah Al-Rum. Have you heard of Surah Al-Rum? How many of you heard of Surah Al-Rum? Surah Al-Rum, right? By the way, this Surah Al-Rum, I just want to take just 1 minute. Surah Al-Rum started with this. Alif Lam Mim. Normally, Alif Lam Mim in the Quran is followed by a glorification of Allah. Allah la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum, or ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ, to glorify either Allah or the book. Except Surah Al-Rum. Surah Al-Rum started with Alif Lam Mim. The Romans have been defeated in the farthest of the land. وَغُلِبَتِ الرُّومُ فِي أَدْنَى الْأَرْضِ وَهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ غَلَبِهِمْ سَيَغْلِبُونَ فِي بِضْعِ سِنِينَ. It started with this breaking news. You know, CNN today, they have breaking news, right? Such and such happened. A plane fell. Car accidents, or cars or trains or big issues, breaking news. Allah is telling Prophet Muhammad, this is a breaking news. What's this breaking news? The Romans in the farthest of the land were defeated by the Persians. وَهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ غَلَبِهِمْ سَيَغْلِبُونَ. My point is this: why Allah called it Surah Al-Rum and He did not call it Surah Al-Furs, the Persian? Why Allah didn't say Alif Lam Mim? غلبت الفرس في أدنى الأرض. But Allah used a Rome. What is Rome? Rome today. Europe. Western Europe. Western Europe. Today, in 2017, I just came to you, by the way, from Belgium, and interacting with the imams in Belgium and in Holland. Do you know how many Muslims today are living in Belgium? In Belgium. It's almost 45% in Brussels, only Brussels, are Muslims. In Brussels. I just would like you to know more than 55 million Muslims in Europe. Allah called it Surah Al-Rum. Allah didn't call it Surah Al-Furs. Because a lot of people today, they migrate. Even the Americans came from the European countries. They migrated there. Of course, they found Red Indians, but that's another story. So that's very important today to talk about this diversity with Al-Azhar, and Al-Azhar is sending a lot of imams to be trained on that. This is trainings for the imams in Belgium, and this is in New York, and this is the priests, because also it is very important to help the imams to see how they are then to educate the priests who come and tell you, oh, Islam is this, Islam is that. They need education also. They need education. So this is by taking them to Morocco. This is the education to the law enforcement. Now CECF, this conduct law enforcement in the Washington area for the FBI, for the Homeland Security, for the federal police, state police, because they need to know about the Muslim community, that the Muslim community is not a threat. No. America is also our country, and we care about the security of our country. And those kind of people who are trying to do something bad has nothing to do with Islam. So those are all Muslim chaplains, by the way. This is in the mosque, Al-Rahma, where Obama came and visited the mosque before. This is the speaker programs that we do with different embassies, inviting imam, and this is here my wife. They are doing a training for the Italian army. Okay, that's in Rome. In Rome. And that's the Italian army, and that's the Air Force, and those. And they were saying, you are the first imam to come to us and speak to us. I said, what about the imams in Italy? But there are some people here, in their mind, stay away from the others, they are kuffar. Kuffar. I don't want to invite kuffar to the mosque. I don't want anybody. Excuse me, Rasulullah ﷺ dealt with the mushrikeen all of his life. He tried so much to invite them, to speak to them. Today we have been really drinking from polluted wells for almost 40, 50 years of certain ideologies. Stay away. Those are kuffar. How are you going to reach out to the people who don't know who you are? This kind of mentality and this kind of ideology has been spreading all over Southeast Asia, all over the Middle East, all over Europe. Now, a lot of countries in the Gulf are trying to fight this ideology, but it is too late. This ideology has been spreading all over. It is different than Rahmatan lil Alameen. It is different than Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. It is different than قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ تَعَالَوْا إِلَى كَلِمَةٍ سَوَاءٍ. So, who is supposed to, where is Indonesia conducting training for the law enforcement in Europe? Where is Indonesia? Largest Muslim country. I have to talk to their imams and tell them, please come to America. Please come and interact with the people. Share with them your Islam. You are saying your Islam, mashallah, is the best, and Jesus is part of your Islam, and Maryam is part of your Islam. Come and talk to us. This police, I don't know if you met him when you were there. You met him, right? Abdul Aziz. And this is the training we do in our office. This is where Imam Hadi visited us. This is the training for the police in our office. And this is our brother. He visited us. And this is the Indonesian ambassador. And the Indonesian ambassador told Mr. Jala that you have to visit with Imam Arafat. And we spoke about the Imam's training. Because I was saying, where is Indonesia? Please. I said that to the previous president who came and inaugurated the Imam Center in 2014. President Yudhoyono. Exactly. He came and we spoke. He said, Imam, you have to come to Indonesia and let's do these programs together. So we are doing these programs, these courses and these conferences for the churches. We have 700 churches only in our state, okay? In our surroundings of Baltimore County and Eastern Shore and Western and Annapolis. And this now is in 2017. We started this in 2016 at the Archdiocese of Baltimore. This is East African imams. They came just 2 months ago. For 2 weeks, we are doing this kind of training. And this is the Islamic Society of Washington area. And this one here, for the imams from Kyrgyzstan, they are coming in April. It is my responsibility also to reach out to Central Asia. But I like to take with me imams from Indonesia, for Kazakhstan, for Kyrgyzstan, for Kenya, for Ghana, for Europe. This is the programs and the outreach, and this is the MOU, we signed with Islamic University there, Kyrgyzstan, Islamic University of Kyrgyzstan. And this is the American ambassador there. I would like you to know that there is a difference in America between what Trump is saying and what the American people believe in. A lot of American people are upset of that decision of moving the embassy to Jerusalem. A lot of American people, they come and they tell me, look, this is something bad for all of us. But I have to tell them, thank you very much. And they tell me we need to join you to stand up against these kind of things. I don't work with the State Department or with any embassy, but I get invited by all of these embassies to share with people about what is happening in America today. But it is also the responsibility of youth in Indonesia, of universities in Indonesia, to increase the level of delegation, official delegation, government delegation, and civil society's delegations to come and meet with the civil society in the United States and to create these kind of things, people-to-people diplomacy that I believe in. The last thing I would like to say, I don't have time to show the rest, but the last thing I would like to say, one of the biggest challenges we are facing today is the lack of leadership. Okay? The lack of leadership. We train our students to succeed, but not to become leaders. And not to become global leaders. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling me in the Quran about Ibrahim alayhi salam, Inni ja'iluka linnasi imama. Allah didn't say, I'm making you imam for the Muslims, for the believers. Inni ja'iluka linnasi imama. What I have learned in America, that you have to go and do whatever you want. And that's what I like about the American society, that they believe in you to become successful. And to be a leader if you studied, also to succeed, and combine leadership to your study, to combine leadership to your economy, to combine leadership to your degree. And that's what I see in Southeast Asia. How many of you having Samsung phones? Please raise your hands.
Everyone.
How many of you have Samsung? None of you have Samsung phone?
Almost everyone.
Come on. Okay.
Punya Samsung semua? Oh.
Do you have Samsung?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you have it in Indonesia? Kia and Hyundai cars. Kia and Hyundai. Those are made where? Where? I would like to hear from my sister. Where are those made?
Samsung is from Korea.
You mean South Korea? You mean South Korea? South Korea.
But others are from China, like iPhone is from China.
iPhone.
They made in China, but the founder is from America.
Yeah. But Samsung is South Korea. And where is Kia and Hyundai? It's from
South Korea.
South Korea. How long South Korea started doing this? How many years back?
That's about 20 years ago.
20 years, 30 years? 20 years, 30 years. What about Indonesia?
67 years ago.
What about Indonesia? My question to all of you, where is your Samsung? Where is your iPhone? Where is your Kia? Where is your Hyundai? I don't mean the same. I mean, you are living, if you want to compete, you have to think of leadership also. The other people are really, really reading a lot. That's why the first word in the Quran was Iqra. If you don't read a lot, and other sons of Adam and Eve read more than you, then they will be ahead of you. In this dunya, any son of Adam and Eve reads more, he will be ahead. At one point, Muslims were reading a lot and everything. And during the Abbasi Khilafah, translation of the books to Arabic became very, 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 very good business. Al-Khalifa Harun al-Rashid, if he would translate book to Arabic, they will put the book here and gold here on the scale. And you will get, that's why Islamic civilization through Spain, Al-Andalus, and Sicily enlightened Europe. Today, we just like to say, bring our histories of the past. But that is not enough. You have to continue to read. That's why I'm in Indonesia. Because the younger generation today are really aspiring to be also leaders. And when you spoke about your wonderful remarks that 80%, that's what I got from the translation, that 80% of the resources benefiting other companies who are coming here from Europeans, Americans, where are the younger generation also to make Indonesia one of the biggest economy in Southeast Asia and a hub of technology? That's why I'm here, because I have seen sincerity in the heart of this man. Really. That's why when he invited me, I said, I have to come. And I pushed other meetings because coming to Alma University means coming to visit somebody who has sincere intention to make a difference. And I really respect him. Thank you very much, Father. Because I see that he is one of the examples of successful Indonesian entrepreneurs. That he is also trying to pass this, yearning in his heart to all of you. So may Allah help me and you to face these challenges through Iqra and through reading and through communication and visits and talk. Because our religion says, Ya ayyuhan nas, inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha, O mankind, we created you from a single pair of male and female. وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا, and we made you nations and tribes that you may know one another. May Allah help me and you to carry this message of mercy for mankind to everyone. And thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you very much for Imam Muhammad Bashar Arafat. Can we give another big applause for him? Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have got a very insightful speech from the Honorable Imam Muhammad Bashar Akbar about Muslim empowerment and also how to spread and to reach out the message of Islam as Rahmatan lil Alamin to the outside world. And to the next agenda, we would like to have the discussion for the Honorable Kiai Haji Abdul Wahid Mahfud. So please welcome Kiai Haji Abdul Wahid.
Thank you very much. I just to underline the speech delivered by the Honorable Mr. Idham Samawi and also our brothers Muhammad Bashar Arafat. Pada intinya memang ada dua hal solusi. Mungkin kalau Pak Idham lebih menekankan aspek politik karena memang itu sesuai dengan preambul konstitusi, kita perlu melakukan perubahan melalui jalur politik. Tapi kalau saya melihat Imam Muhammad Bashar Arafat ini melalui merubah diri, yaitu melalui keilmuan untuk merubah pemahaman kita. Karena sebetulnya Islam itu dahsyat, cuma umat Islam belum dahsyat. Nah, kenapa? Karena persoalan pemahaman, karena keilmuannya rendah. Nah, ini yang harus kita lakukan. Oleh itu kita harus merubah pemahaman bahwa Islam itu bukan hanya untuk orang Indonesia, bukan hanya untuk orang Arab, tapi untuk semesta alam, untuk kemanusiaan semuanya. Jadi kita ini dahsyat sebetulnya. Dan masalahnya apa? Su'il faham, pemahamannya yang misinterpretation. Karena apa? Ya ilmu kita rendah sekali. Dan juga pengamalannya, implementation. Jadi persoalan misinterpretation and misimplementation. Persoalan su'il faham wa su'il tadbiq. Nah, ini yang menarik dari oleh itu mereka, ini tanggung jawab kita semua. Islam ini hebat. Dan bagaimana kita harus memberikan contoh? Banyak kita ini yang Islam tanpa disadari. Kita satu contoh misalnya kita itu wajib membaca, harus cinta ilmu, tapi nyatanya kita banyak yang tidak suka membaca, tidak banyak memburu ilmu, tidak haus ilmu. Padahal Islam begitu jelas, ikro. Dan itu pernah dibuktikan bahwa Islam pernah berjaya memimpin dunia. Nah, sekarang ini kita harus merebut kembali kepada Islam yang betul-betul Islam yang sejati, sehingga kita menjadi ja'il nasi imam, menjadi pemimpin. Nah, sekarang ini kita kurang karena kita itu tidak percaya diri, kita lebih jadi makmum. Nah, saatnya menurut Syekh Imam Muhammad Bashar Arafat ini kita mulai ghadir nafsa wa taghyir tarikh, rubah diri kita terlebih dahulu dan maka akan berubah sejarah ini. Jadi tidak perlu kita menyalahkan. Satu contoh yang disampaikan oleh Pak Idham tadi, bagaimana Nichol Rousseau yang begitu kaya tapi akhirnya lari pada Amerika 80%. Kenapa? Ya karena mereka memang punya keunggulan dalam hal teknologi. Nah, sekarang gimana kita itu membalikkan sejarah ini? Dan ternyata kalau orang yang sungguh-sungguh seperti Korea ternyata bisa kok. Itu misalnya Samsung, Kia, mobil yang sudah, bahkan Amerika sudah mulai kewalahan sekarang. Negara-negara maju seperti negara sudah mulai disalib. Karena kesungguhan untuk merubah. Nah, oleh karena itu dia sebagai contoh sekarang, dia dulu orang Syria dan dia kemudian diberi nasihat oleh gurunya, cobalah kamu belajar ke Amerika dengan bahasa Inggris. Tadinya dia tidak bisa bahasa Inggris, bahkan akhirnya dengan menguasai ilmu, menguasai bahasa, menguasai budaya, dia bisa menjelaskan kepada mereka tentang apa itu Islam. Sehingga banyak sekarang ini mereka bekerja sama, mereka ingin tahu. Jadi kita harus jangan menyalahkan orang lain, tapi salahkan diri kita sendiri. Apakah kita sudah merepresentasikan, menggambarkan keislaman kita yang utuh? Ini yang menjadi isu. Nah, oleh itu kalau kita betul-betul merubah dari diri sendiri, dan banyak akhirnya kesalahpahaman itu bisa diatasi. Di Amerika satu contoh misalnya, yang seperti diceritakan oleh Syekh Muhammad Bashar itu, banyak orang yang tidak paham tentang Islam, tidak paham tentang sejarah. Mereka menganggap Palestina yang menjajah Israel, sampai kemudian ditanya kapan EU itu mengembalikan tanah Israel. Dibalik-balik sejarah. Nah, siapa yang bisa meluruskan sejarah kalau kita tidak mengerti ilmu sejarah? Jadi kembali lagi persoalan adalah supremacy dan superiority soal keilmuan, keunggulan ini. Nah, oleh karena itu, tapi ini memang tidak cukup. Ini menurut saya dua pendekatan tokoh ini sangat menarik. Pertama memang harus dengan politik, karena politik itu menyangkut soal power, kekuatan. Nah, ini yang memang perlu. Tetapi power tanpa juga ilmu, ini menjadi artinya hilang. Oleh karena itu menurut bahasa ini saatnya kita tidak hanya memahami Islam dari kulitnya saja, tapi menangkap spiritnya, hakikatnya, isinya, substansinya. Dan dia yakin bahwa dengan sekarang ini mulai banyak orang-orang yang hebat di Amerika ini, mereka sudah terbukti banyak sekali MOU yang ditandatangani dengan Kementerian Luar Negeri, dengan pertahanan, banyak sekali kementerian-kementerian itu mereka mulai tertarik dengan Islam. Karena apa? Kita sendiri yang memberikan memberikan penjelasan. Nah, inilah barangkali memang tantangan kita untuk merespon. Yang intinya adalah mutu. Kalau dalam Al-Quran itu fafiru ilallah, fafiru ilal Islam, fafiru ilal Quran. Mari kita semuanya sekarang lari kepada Al-Quran gitu. Dan juga dia memberikan suatu isyarat, memang kita perlu ada semacam budaya untuk saling mengenal dibandingkan dengan budaya untuk saling membenci menjauh. Karena Islam itu mengajarkan lita'araf dan lita'awar. Jadi selama ini kita sering menganggap keragaman itu sebagai threat, sebagai ancaman. Tapi sebetulnya jelas-jelas dalam agama Islam dikatakan ikhtilafu ummatir rahmah. Perbedaan itu sebetulnya rahmat. Cuman persoalannya kita belum memanfaatkan keragaman itu untuk bersinergi dan berkolaborasi. Nah, inilah yang diharapkan oleh dua pendekatan ini, dan tentu saja apa yang disampaikan oleh Pak Idham juga pendekatan politis baik secara institusi presiden maupun MPR melalui kelembagaan PBB maupun juga OKI. Nah, ini juga bagus karena Datullah ma'al jamaah, tidak bisa Indonesia itu sendirian. Makanya menghimbau untuk menekan Amerika itu melalui jalur-jalur diplomatik, melalui institusi. Dan alhamdulillah sekarang ini memang diisolir Amerika. Jadi unilateral harus dilawan dengan multilateral. Jadi tidak bisa gitu. Jadi dengan alhamdulillah mungkin ini rahmat. Kalau dulu misalnya di DKI Ahok gitu ya, gara-gara Ahok umat Islam di Jakarta itu kompak. Nah, siapa tahu nih gara-gara Donald Trump, umat Islam seluruh dunia ini menjadi kompak dan terhentak umat Islam untuk sadar, dan mereka menyadari bahwa Islam itu sebenarnya the most powerful weapon. Kalau kita betul-betul mengenal dan memanfaatkan ajaran Islam yang betul-betul lahir batin, maka menjadi senjata yang paling ampuh to change our world in the future. This is what sometimes we ignore. Nahnu indana kaifa alam الغفلة عن الكتاب القرآن عن الآخر. فلذلك قد نحن بحاجة على تغيير بنفسك، غير بنفسك وستغيير التاريخ. فلذلك نحن بحاجة على أيضا كيف مع الجمع الاجتماع يضع مع الجماعة للجماعة الاتحاد قوي التفرق ضعيف. فلذلك قد نحن نتحدث اليوم والمستقبل كيف نحلل القضايا المسلمين والأوروبيين لأنه هو علاقة جدا بينهم. Oleh karena itu memang itu tantangan kita semua, tapi yang menarik dua pemaparan tadi, ya itu menurut saya ini dua hal yang harus kita tidak bisa saling pisahkan, pendekatan politis dan juga pendekatan non politis. Dan pendekatan non politis itu adalah pendekatan keilmuan. Kita harus punya supremacy, yaitu keunggulan dan juga superiority, kehebatan. Karena Amerika hebat menurut mereka itu karena ilmu. Dan kalau kita bicara soal ilmu, dasar-dasar yang agama mana yang lebih hebat dari selain agama Islam yang menekankan betul-betul aspek membaca. Nah, oleh itu inilah saatnya kita merubah orang lain dengan merubah diri sendiri, dan bagaimana kita kemudian menampilkan Islam itu dengan diri kita sendiri. Karena kata Syed Qutb, al-Islam mahjubun bil muslimin. Kadang-kadang Islam itu terhalang oleh umat Islam yang belum mengamalkan Islam secara utuh. Saya pikir itu sekedar emphasis atau tekanan-tekanan dan garis bawah dari komentar saya kepada dua pembicara. فلذلك نحن سعيد جدا بكيف هذا رأيكم الجميل. إن شاء الله كلنا ندرس من تجربكم إن شاء الله الآن والمستقبل. جزاكم الله خير.
May I just say something? I just wanted to say that really, whenever I come to Indonesia, I come to Indonesia to be inspired because I see Indonesia as the largest Muslim country has to carry these banners, you know. You have to leave. You have to leave because everybody is looking for you. Always people say in America, Indonesia, 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 the largest Muslim country, the largest Muslim country. But you have to be also the largest in so many leadership traits. So, thank you very much.
For the next agenda will be lead by our MC again. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to thank you to Mr. Cahya for conducting the discussions, and thank you for the keynote speakers that have delivered their speeches.
So now that everyone has had a few minutes to reflect upon the speeches from all of our speakers, we would like to hold a discussion in the form of a question and answer session. We again have asked our moderator, Mr. Chaya, to assist us for the questions and answers.
Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, and the honorable guest, and also the keynote speaker, we will have like probably 10 or 20 minutes to have a question and answer. So this is probably the session that is waited by our audience to ask you, Mr. Basab, and then Pak Maktub and also Pak Idam Samawi to ask some question related to our topic today. So for the first session, I would like to have probably 3 questions from the audience. Please. 3 questions.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Bunga. I'm a faculty member of the Faculty of Health Sciences, Universitas Alma. As we already know that Indonesia has the various cultures, various races, and also religion. On the other side, as an Indonesian, I'm very proud of my country because we have democratic values that is really compatible with Islamic values. But the big challenge is there are many social media, political issues, and also the group of communities that seek for our little differences among Muslims themselves, small differences among Muslims themselves, and make it as a big issue. And that issue starts destroying the peacefulness of the Muslims themselves. And what I want to ask is, what's your opinion? What should we do as a Muslim here, as in Indonesia and also part of the global community? What should we do to keep the peacefulness despite of our differences? Thank you.
Can we go to the second question first or just answer? Okay, second question. Yes, sir.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable speakers and audience, thank you very much for having me join this insightful meeting. And the speaker was speaking at a lot of important things, and I'm in agreement with speaking the topic today. What we do need is a global humanitarian movement. I think the bottom line. And the trigger, I agree, is the blunder that Donald Trump has made. So he taking his own graveyard of American politics, so to speak. But if we go from the theoretical perspective, I happen to be professor of political science at Pajaman University, and also rector of newly established University of Jakarta. And we look at from political scientist perspective, one of the problems is the notions of nation state. What make it happen is the idea of nation states because of the sovereignty of the president within the country. And if you look at the American political system, presidents need to mobilize internal support for his power. And one tricky thing to do that is to engage at the international level. So international arena has become the place for mobilizing domestic sentiment. And it has been happening elsewhere all over the world. In Europe, it's been marked by the Brexit, Britain exit from the European Union, and there is a strong demand to mobilize domestic support, and I think Donald Trump do the same thing, and Indonesia also facing the same thing, mobilizing domestic sentiment or ethno-religious sentiment has become the thrust of current political strategy today. Okay, if we look at the nation-state idea, one state, one nation, one sovereignty, but the key thing is they can make externalities. So by making trouble as well in the Middle East, then the president gained domestic support. And I think humanitarian politics is at play now. And well, we can say that Donald Trump's trigger global movement, which blessing is from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. But then, how can we, on the one hand, maintaining national system of nation state on one hand, and the global solidarity, humanitarian movement or NAS or NAS at the humanitarian level. Indonesia is facing tricky thing because there has been a global movement.
Excuse me, can we just go straight to the question?
This is the point. Indonesia has been facing a challenge. On the one hand, need to mobilize national-wide solidarity system within the notion of nation-state. But when we go beyond nation-state, like the idea of khilafah, then it creates a tension. And now, then we need to take balance between the modality, the solidarity within the nations and the global movement, because Indonesia now split in its idea how to deal with the global level movement. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ya, mungkin bisa dijawab dulu ya. One question. Oh, one more question. One more question.
Assalamualaikum. أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بحضور السيد الإمام محمد بشر عرفات قدر الله عنه في خدمة الإسلام والمسلمين. أولا قبل كل شيء نرجو معافاة membacakan الأخطاء في تقدير كلمات العربية. عجبا لنا وأحسن ما تلقي الأفكار عن حاجة المسلمين اليوم لمقابلة المستقبل من الزمان. أرى إن كان الأمة يفهمون الإسلام فهما جيدا فهما عميق ليس فهم القشري ولكن فهم المعنى. ولكن وقع في قلوبنا الهموم والغموم على ما وقع في بلاد المسلمين الخصوص كما رأينا ما وقع في العراق وفي سوريا وفي يمن والخصوص في فلسطين. كيف رأيكم إذا كان الأمة ترتقي بالعلوم كما قال الله تعالى فإلا الذين آمنوا منكم الذين أوتوا العلم درجات، ولكن الحال الذي وقعت علينا الجهالة هل دونالد ترامب بتأيين أن يروشلم عاصمة فلسطين هذا من الجهالة. وقد قال الله تعالى فاصدع بما تؤمر وأعرض عن الجاهلين. إذا كيف؟ لأن الإسلام دين السلام، والحال البلاد سواء البلاد المسلمين أو غير المسلمين مستعدون بالقوة المعسكرية، تكاد الأرض تكاد العالم تهلك. فنرجو من فضيلة السيد الإمام محمد بشار الفت الجواب أو البيان عن هذه المشكلة. شكرا.
Let me just stand and just address your question, but with more elaboration, because I see the similarities, kind of. Inshallah. The sister spoke here. I'm going to summarize. The sister here spoke about certain issues here in Indonesia due to the diversity that exists in this country. Some people are playing on this diversity to make it as issues of disunity, and people are fighting each other through politics or other ways, but they are using the diversity as a resource and as a source of disunity. And that's where I would like to tell you one more time. Imagine you have every Friday a very, very, very well thought of khutbah, educational khutbah about the will of Allah of diversity. Because Allah said in the Quran, وَلَوْ شَاءَ رَبُّكَ لَجَعَلَ النَّاسَ أُمَّةً وَاحِدًا. If it was Allah's will, He would make the entire people thinking one way and following one religion, coming to Allah through one path. Diversity is the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even within the same family, you will see a father and a mother and 5 children. The 5 children, sometimes they have 5 opinions. They like 5 different things, even within the same family. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam approved the diversity of understanding the Quran within his Sahaba. Sometimes, and it happened, al-usuliyun, the fuqaha, the jurists, they use this example. Once Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لا يصلي أحد منكم العصر إلا في بني قريظة. None of you should pray Asr and except until you get to Bani Qurayza. And that was after the battle of Al-Khandaq, the battle of the ditch. The point is, when the Sahaba, they were going, and the sun started going down, So here they had two opinions. Some they said, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ told us not to pray Asr until we get to Bani Qurayza. And others they said, well, Rasulullah did not mean for us to miss Asr, it's almost Maghrib. So let us pray here. So some they prayed and some they did not pray. And some they prayed Asr after Maghrib when they arrived to Bani Qurayza. When Rasulullah ﷺ came and they presented the issue, Rasulullah approved both. He said, you both are correct. If it was not for this, we will have no Shafi'i who have different opinion than the Hanafi, a different opinion than the Maliki, and the Hanbali, and the Ibadi, and the Zahiri. By the way, the common madhahib are 4, but there are more than 16. More than 16. But my point is this. If we don't recognize the freedom of thoughts, this is your understanding, I respect your understanding, but I might feel more comfortable about أَوْلَا مَسْتُمُ النِّسَاءِ, that my wudu is broken. But according to Hanafi, even if you touch the woman, accidentally your wudu is still valid. You see what I'm saying? Within the same ayah, people have different opinions and different understandings of the ayah. But nobody has any differences about قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ Allahu Samad. That's why Allah referred in the Quran to al-ayat al-muhkamat. منه آيات محكمات وأخر متشابهات فأما الذين في قلوبهم فيتبعون ما تشابه منه ابتغاء الفتنة وابتغاء تأويله وما يعلم إلا تأويله إلا الله والراسخون في العلم. What I wanted to say here, الراسخون في العلم, there are scholars, there are ulama, and there are أولو العلم, and there are والراسخون في العلم, those who are well grounded in knowledge. So even knowledge is different levels. Different levels. That's why Allah told us in Surah Al-Kahf about Al-Khadir and Prophet Musa alayhi salam, that even he's a prophet and Kalimullah could not understand certain things. My point is this. If we do not, respect one another when we have some cultural differences or intellectual differences, we will have a fight continuously. And this is a problem here for Indonesia and Malaysia. Because we have been targeted by certain ideologies from some Muslims. If you don't follow what I'm telling you, you are not a good Muslim. If you don't do it this way, you are not a good Muslim. If you don't do it that way, who told you that? So, again, with the community of the Prophet, 60,000, 70,000 when he died, to 240 million. Let me just say, 240 million, only Indonesia. Let's say, forget about the whole Muslim world. Let's take only Indonesia. During the time of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, there has been kuffar, and then there has been munafiqun, hypocrites. Rasulullah never allowed his Sahaba to kill the hypocrites. In a 70,000 community versus 240 million, imagine how many hypocrites you have. The issue is how you are going to deal with hypocrisy. And Rasulullah even would consult with some of the people, some of the Sahaba, and some of them are hypocrites, living during the time of Rasulullah ﷺ, and he will include them in the masjid. Even Umar ibn al-Khattab, after the death of Rasulullah, did not know those 80-some hypocrites because Rasulullah trusted only one Sahabi, Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman, on the name of those hypocrites, munafiqun. They saw Rasulullah, they heard the Quran, but Allah called them munafiqin. Because Allah told Rasulullah, وَلَا تُصَلِّ عَلَىٰ أَحَدٍ مِّنْهُمْ مَاتَ وَلَا تَقُمْ عَلَىٰ قَبْرِهِ. But my point is, how many hypocrites you have in Indonesia? I'm not going to tell you Syria or Egypt or Morocco. The biggest issue today is where are the scholars who, because some of those hypocrites, when they speak, you will hear the plans of people coming from other countries to destroy Indonesia. Every time I travel to Indonesia, I turn the TV in my room, in the hotel, and I see some of these plans. I'm not going to tell you, but I see the problems here, the problems in Malaysia. You have to be careful. You have to be careful about the unity of your country. But that's why I'm doing this Imams training, to tell the Imams, please, for God's sake, see the bigger picture, the global issues. So don't fight about wudu and about, just to give you an example, on Facebook, is it halal or haram to tell somebody Merry Christmas? Did you have that here? Yes. And I tell them, Astaghfirullah al-Azim. Is this now the biggest issue? For me in America, most of the people I come across with are Christians. Don't you think I should tell them, Assalamu alaikum, I wish you, a joyful holiday. I wish you, Astaghfirullah, it's haram. Excuse me, brother. Allah is telling me that if you like this lady who is Christian or Jewish, you can marry her. Allah is telling me I can marry Ahlul Kitab, right? One of the people of the book. Imagine if I'm going to marry an American woman who is Christian or Jewish, people of the book. How am I going to wake up in the morning? I'm going to tell her, hi, how are you, honey? Give me a kiss. Give me a hug, right? So, you are Christian, so I would like to wish you, a Merry Christmas, and you would like to go to the church. Oh, Astaghfirullah, it's haram. Excuse me, she's my wife. I'm talking to you, and my wife who became Muslim, and she went to visit her family in Ohio, just now. Just a few days ago, she was in Ohio. Of course, she went to tell her mother Merry Christmas, and she has to do Birrul Walidain, right? What kind of teachings we have been, here in Indonesia, you have Christians, you have, people of other religions. Don't you think you have to be nice to your neighbor? He comes and he tells you, Eid Mubarak. He comes and tells you, oh, you are fasting, we wish you happy Ramadan. I see the fight within Facebook. Haram, halal, haram, halal. You cannot. This is really ridiculous. Where is the, collaboration to make a stronger Indonesia, and then stronger Southeast Asia, and then a stronger world? So that's why I would like to tell you, yes, there are some issues, cultural diversity, religious diversity, but this diversity is part of the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we don't know how to deal with it, if you have imams who keep, making you feeling guilty, instead of, reach out and smile, because Allah is saying, وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. Say kind things to people. Allah is saying, لَا يَنْهَاكُمُ اللَّهُ عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين ولم يخرجوكم من دياركم أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم. Allah is telling you there is nothing wrong in being so kind to those who are not hurting you or harming you. Those issues of cultural diversity. Here the beauty of Indonesia is the diversity. But if we don't have wise scholars and wise politicians who would help the youth to use this diversity to empower you economically and intellectually, then I see Indonesia is going back and back and back. I would like to see the people, competing which airlines we have to copy, Boeing or Airbus. How we are going to reach to Mars, because the Indians already are orbiting there. But our discussion is still halal or haram to say Merry Christmas. You see where we are and where Allah is asking you, وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. Brother, regarding this nation state, I would like to tell you, I live in America, and unfortunately, I'm seeing a problem in America. And I'm sorry to tell you that if things will continue the same way I see it, God forbid of us having another civil war. Another civil war. Because it happened 100 plus years ago. And this is the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَيَطْغَى أَنْ رَآهُ اسْتَغْنَى. This is the will of Allah. And it is our responsibility to advise. That's why I see a lot of wise Christians and wise Jews and wise Muslims are telling those politicians from Trump and down that what you are doing, you are hurting America and you are hurting the American people around the world. And if this way will continue, I see now Europe is going to rise more and America will go down with this kind of rhetoric. Because already, a lot of people do not want to come and study in America, as far as, to get degrees. They are going to Australia, they are going somewhere else. So, even the issue of nation state, for us as Muslims, we are living in a world that is changing constantly. We don't have in our, Sharia books something about constitution. We don't have anything about passport. We don't have fiqh al-passport, fiqh al-jinsiyah. We don't have that. So this is all something new. And that's why we have to constantly educate our scholars to travel. Because if somebody never left Indonesia yet and does not understand what Europe looked like, what America looked like, what Australia, what Africa, I mean, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ traveled, okay? And the Quran is saying, قُلْ سِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. قُلْ سِيرُوا, say, travel in the land. انظروا كيف كان عاقبة الذين من قبلكم. See, travel in the land and see and study and compare. So today, if you don't travel and you are sitting in the same place, that's why if somebody is having issues, just travel outside Indonesia and come back, and then you will say, why we were fighting toward all of these issues? We have to move forward, because I attended a conference in Germany, I attended a conference in England, I attended a conference in the United States, and the people are way ahead. We are still talking about those little issues. If you don't travel, you think the whole world is Indonesian. The whole world is not Indonesian. But Indonesians need to benefit from the experience of the whole world in order to move forward, in order to show a different model. I wish we have a lot of philosophers who constantly talk about the balance between nation state and the global system. If that rhetoric continues in America, you will see a lot of wise people in the East will start talking, and a lot of people from America will start following them. And just to end by this, a lot of Indians today are coming to America and spreading yoga and meditation, and a lot of people are following them. So I just want you to know Indonesia has a lot of things to offer. A lot of things to offer. I think that's part of ما قلته هو جزء من هذا الحل. تعليم العلماء والأئمة أن يدركوا أن هذا المستقبل لا بد له من فهم جديد يواكب هذه التطورات التي نشهدها اليوم، وإلا نبقى بالوراء.
Yeah. Okay. Please give applause to. I was about learning one phrase in Arabic. It is ma'alais astafu minkum mungkin masalatul ilas su'al. But yeah, I think we don't have enough time for the next session. I believe that we have still so many people who want to ask questions to Imam Muhammad Bashar Rahmat and also Mr. Yeah, but we are now already reaching out our edge of the time. So, okay, so I think we cannot have any more question and answer, so we can discuss.
And I just would like to say one thing. My organization has this conference. It's called Better Understanding for a Better World. One of the reasons why I'm coming to Indonesia is really to talk with the U.S. Embassy how we can bring this global conference and youth from 60 countries to Jakarta in order to make this better understanding for a better world. I don't know, I think we don't have time to show you the 5-minute video, but we can give you the link, you can watch it yourself.
Okay. 5 minutes video is okay.
It's okay?
Yeah.
5-minute video?
Yes.
Okay, you have the 5 minutes, you have the video here, right? It's on the same file. But before we play the video, I just would like you to know that also for my sister, one of the things we do as training in the United States, and that is how to reach out to youth from all over the world and to talk to these youth from their language and their understanding and about the cultural diversity and how to be global leaders in the world. This is not all my files, by the way. I have only a small file called Al-Bashir and CCF. Yeah, you see underneath? You see that file, and then it goes exactly, no, up. Exactly. Open that one. Yeah, there is a movie here, BBW, up. Yeah, this one. But before you start it, I would like just to... No. Okay. Just if you turn it off for a minute. Okay. I want you to pay attention to this. In America, I'm really honored to work with youth from 68 countries. The State Department allow them to come to our conferences. We hold these conferences 3 times a year. We call it Better Understanding for a Better World. Those youth, as cultural exchange students, they come to study and they live with host families for 1 year. And they come to these conferences. I teach them leadership skills. I teach them that one of the issues is going to damage you and your thinking process until you die is disrespect of others. If you disrespect others, you cannot be a good leader in your company, in your hospital. If you just disrespect them because of their religion or the way they look or which clan they are from. Because, Allah made us different for a reason. And then we talk about religious diversity and we take them to a church and to a synagogue and then to come to the masjid and see how Islam combined the teachings of all of what you have heard in the morning during your visit to the church and during your visit to the synagogue, and how we can move forward together. And then after that, they have leadership sessions and, of course, fun. They visit different places together, and then they have a banquet, and they have cultural performances. One of the organizations, they said, Imam, what are you teaching those youth in this 5 days conference? Because every time they come back, they say this was the best experience they had in the United States. I said, well, this is the itinerary. They said, no, there is something else. I said, well, that's what we have. They said, can we come and record the conference and we will give you 5 minutes for free? I said, sure. So they came and they interviewed the students by themselves. I was not with them. I want you to listen to what the students are saying. And now I'm doing these conferences in Europe. We have done it in Jakarta in 2015, but now we would like to do it with UN. But now we would like to do it in Jakarta for Southeast Asia and for students and youth from all over the world. We are doing it in Belgium and Germany, as well as in Uganda for East Africa and in Egypt for the Middle East. So, Yeah, you can play from the beginning. Go back from the beginning. Listen to what she's saying.
My name is Baswan. I'm from Indonesia. Come to UBW.
From Indonesia.
Hi, I'm Fatima. I'm from Bangladesh. Come to BUBW.
They're all interesting and I love them all. We're all wonderful people and we're going to change the world. These are the faces of our future. These young adults are crossing religious and cultural borders to form friendships that span the globe.
Some of them will be heads of state, some of them will be prime ministers. And one day, I believe those friendships will come to play a significant role in preventing war, in bringing aid, in creating bilateral relations and trade pacts that will empower our world.
They are exchange students living and studying in America. And this is the Better Understanding for a Better World Conference, or BUBW. Kids from 30 to 40 different countries, including the United States, gather to learn about each other's religions, customs, hopes, and dreams.
So we talk about the commonality we have as human beings, because I tell them this is a human conference. This is not an Islamic conference, or a Christian conference, or a Jewish conference. This is not a religious conference. This is a human conference. We move to make them think of what's made me different than you, and who is better. And we come to the importance, understanding of the cultural diversity as a blessing, not as a curse. That this cultural diversity should be used to enhance our presence on the surface of this earth.
The goal is simple. Tear down the stereotypes and spread the word of peace and prosperity through diversity in every country and culture. They are changing our world for a better future.
So the youth of today are really the decision makers of tomorrow. And if we invest in them now and help them to see the humanity in each other and to form friendships, I think those friendships will last a lifetime.
What they are learning is immeasurable.
So basically, I've learned how to be tolerant to difference. One thing that I also really enjoyed was being at the mosque. It was my first time at a mosque.
We visited a church, a mosque, and a synagogue to learn about different religions and their similarities and differences. It was very, very interesting. And now I saw that our world is beautiful and I enjoyed in every dance, in every kind of music. I learned the new words, and I think that the difference exists to prove that every part of the world is beautiful and that we should keep those differences.
And BUBW is working. Students leave the conference and the United States inspired.
Change is a big thing. Changing the world is an even bigger thing. So I think how I am going to change my community back home is change what's inside of me.
After this conference and everything I've heard and everything that talks about changing the world, now I believe that I can do something good for my country, treating my country by peace, by another world.
I learned a lot about being a better civilization and about the leadership, which is each one of us has ability to lead and inspire. So don't be afraid, just keep dreaming, do it and share it, and we will make a change.
No one in this world can divide us. We are one world, one human being, and we can do everything together.
We know, like I said, an attack on any of us is an attack on all of us.
I don't talk religion right away, but religion comes up later, especially when you talk to youth who are secular, from Germany, from Macedonia, Albania. I don't know what's your strategy, what's your plan, but this is our strategy. And again, I live in a country where I'm thankful to Allah that I migrated to America, because the American people and the American Constitution, inspires me to dream, to do change around the world. Of course, when I started, I didn't know, but I went to Umrah, and I spent the whole Ramadan, 2 weeks in Mecca, 2 weeks in Medina, and I said, Ya Allah, so if you want to make a change, first make sujood and say Ya Allah. Because Rasulullah, from Hira, he made this change that until now we feel that change. But it started from Hira. If you don't have Hira, if you don't have Khalwa, فَأْوُوا إِلَى الْكَهْفِ, which we read every week, you cannot make a change. But say Ya Allah and Allah will inspire you. And just to give you something, it happened just now. While I was meeting with my brother, look what he said. He said, you said, if you want to do this here, talk to me. I have some people who have budget. You said that? You said, let's meet every January, and I can introduce you to some people who have budget to do this in Jakarta.
Okay. Iya. Tolong niatkan, dia punya rencana nanti akan mengadakan di Jakarta, dan kalau Anda itu berniat, insya Allah bisa terwujud gitu.
And I didn't know, but I knew the intention of my good brother. So I wanted to do this for the whole world, but I really wanted to do it from Indonesia, because Indonesia will be the best place to invite youth from all over the world. And then when I invite youth from all over the world, I ask the imams, come, now how do you talk to youth from all over the world? Because the Quran talks to all human beings, by the way. So to me, when I saw my brother, and when he just saw this, and he is saying, let's do it also here in Indonesia, that shows you that people in Indonesia really want to do something. But it is my responsibility, living in America, to come to Indonesia and to say, look, let's do something together. Let's partner together, because the whole world, wallahi, is waiting for the true message of Islam, which is love and mercy and rahmatan lil alamin.
And memang nanti saya akan informasikan ke Pak Menteri, ya, karena saya baru kenal, tapi even though just a few minutes, I just know who you are. But I already fall in love with you. So that's why I will try to arrange meeting with my minister and also with the ministers of religious affairs about the importance of these jobs. That because it belongs to what we call here in our ministry is general education, which emphasize on the importance of character. Because nowadays we also launched what we call is moral revolution, mental revolution. Because we realize about the danger, the competence without characters. Now, what is going on in the other part of the world, like suicide, killing, suicide bombing, something like that, because of the lack of the character, especially influenced by religious values. So that's why later, when because you will stay in Indonesia until January 6th, I will communicate with my minister and also the religious affairs. Maybe at least I assure that I will arrange meeting between you and my director generals who are responsible for that.
Because for me, 2 years last year when I saw bombings happened in Jakarta, do you remember those who blow up something in the streets of Jakarta? Terrorists, blow up themselves in a restaurant, right? To me, I said, this is not Indonesia. Indonesia does not do something like that. This is an ideology coming from outside of Indonesia. Indonesian culture is an Indonesian, the understanding of Islam and religion in Indonesia, respect all cultures and all religions. But for somebody to do bombings in Bali has nothing to do with Islam. And somebody to blow up himself or blow up something in Jakarta, but how do you educate them? Even imams among themselves, they need something like that. Wallahi, especially now, because some people are having this takfiri, mentality. This is a threat for us as other politicians in America are a threat for their own people. And this is the same ideology. We are the best. Some people thinking that they are the best. Anybody who would say, I am the best and everybody else is wrong, he's a threat. He's a threat whether he is a Muslim or whether he's a Christian or Jewish or Hindu. This is what we are seeing around the world. This kind of radicalization coming from those who think they are the best. But what about the rest? No, I'm the best and the rest, are nothing. This is not what God said. God said you are part of the whole human family. And that's why I'm here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for a brilliant question. To close our warm discussion, I would like to say thank you to all of you and please give applause once again for our speakers. Thank you for the...
Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah, so time and place is given back to the Master of Ceremony. Thank you.
We would like to say thank you once again to our speakers. Your speeches were inspiring, impactful, and very sincere. We would also like to say thank you again to Mr. Chaya for his help as our moderator.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next program is the gift and photo season. Therefore, we would like to invite the Rector of University Alma, Professor Dr. Hamam Hadi, to honor our distinguished guest by delivering the gift or souvenir. Okay, thank you for Rector of University Alma for the honoring and delivering the gift. So I would like to invite through all distinguished guests to turn to their seats. Thank you.
So now that we are at the end of our seminar for today, we would like to thank the audience and everyone who participated. Thank you for your attention and participation. And we would now like to have the Honorable Kiai Haji Masud Mastuki to lead a prayer to close.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Alladzi yuwafi ni'amahu yukafi ummati. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhikal karim wa 'azimi sultan. Allahumma shalli wa sallim wa barik ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma ij'al ijtima'ana hadha wa muhadaratana hadha wa halaqatana hadha marhuma ya Allah. Wa tafarruqana من هذه الجلسة تفرقا معصوما. اللهم أصلح لنا ديننا الذي هو عصمة أمرنا وأصلح لنا دنيانا التي فيها معاشنا وأصلح لنا آخرتنا التي إليها معادنا الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير واجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر. اللهم لا تدع في مجلسنا إلا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا غما إلا كشفته ولا مريضا إلا شفيته ولا عيبا إلا سترته ولا ضالا إلا هديته ولا فقيرا إلا أغنيته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا والآخرة التي لك فيها رضا ولنا صلاح إلا قضيتها ويسرتها وعنتها علينا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. اللهم ألف بين قلوبنا وأصلح ذات بيننا واهدنا سبل السلام ونجنا من الظلمات إلى النور وجنبنا الفواحش ما ظهر منها وبطن وبارك لنا في أسماعنا وأبصارنا وقلوبنا وأزواجنا وذريتنا وتب علينا واجعلنا شاكرين لنعمتك مسلمين بها قابلها واختم علينا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم اجعلنا وأهلنا أولادنا جماعتنا ومجتمعنا من أهل العلم وأهل الخير ولا تجعلنا وإياهم من أهل الشر والضير. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله على خير خلقه سيدنا ونبينا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. بنية القبول بسر الفاتحة. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
We would like to say thank you for Kiai Haji Masud Mastuki for the closing doa or prayer. May Allah mercy and blessing always with us. Ladies and gentlemen, step to the last and final program, which is closing. So we close our international seminar today by saying Hamdalah. Let us give a big applause to our seminar speaker today. Ladies and